We will now finally see the new bounty of the Straw Hat Pirates after this Elbaf arc. Basically, once the Egghead Island arc ends, we're all expecting that Oda will give a new bounty for the Straw Hat Pirates, since, yes, a buster call did happen in Egghead Island, led by Admiral Kizaru. There were also a lot of vice admirals with him. The Cypher Pool agents were also present, and even the Gorosei. But it turns out that we didn't get any new bounty for them. That's why, most likely, after the Elbaf arc, that's when Oda will finally give a new bounty for the Straw Hat Pirates. And yes, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And to start our topic, let's go right away to the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, which is Luffy. Currently, Luffy has a 3 billion bounty, and he holds the title of one of the emperors. And because of what happened in the Egghead Island arc, like the death of Vegapunk, it's likely that, similar to past events related to the Marines, they will cover up that the true ones who killed Vegapunk were Admiral Kizaru and Gorosei Saturn. There's a high possibility that the Marines will make it appear that Luffy himself killed Dr. Vegapunk, and of course, we all know how valuable Vegapunk was to the Marines. He's the one who upgraded their weapons, even the soldiers they have now. That's why Luffy's bounty might be raised after the Elbaf arc to 4.5 billion belly. I think Luffy's current bounty of 3 billion will increase by 1.5 billion. If that happens, Luffy's bounty will be higher than Shanks. And of course, at this moment, it's worthy for Luffy to meet Shanks, because technically Luffy is now a higher pirate than Shanks. Anyway, when it comes to the two wings of Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, I think their bounties will increase by 500 million belly each, meaning Zoro's bounty will become 1.61 billion belly. Zoro. Sanji, on the other hand, will become 1.5 billion belly. Currently, the one with the highest bounty among all first mates is King, which is 1.39 billion belly. So if Zoro surpasses this with a new bounty of 1.61 billion, he might possibly be the one with the highest bounty among all first mates. Of course, outside Ben Beckman, whose bounty hasn't been revealed yet. As for Sanji, his 1 billion bounty will make him the third highest bounty holder among the Straw Hat Pirates. So this bounty will establish Sanji as the legitimate third strongest in their pirate crew. Now let's go to Nico Robin. Currently, Robin has a bounty of 930 million belly. I think, similar to Zoro and Sanji, Robin's bounty will also increase by 500 million belly, which means if we add it up, Robin's new bounty will become 1.43 billion belly. We added 500 million to Robin, just like with Zoro and Sanji, because we can see her effort in this Elbaf arc. She bravely fights the Holy Knights. All of these actions are for the old library, since she doesn't want what happened in the burning of Ohara to ever happen again. As for the other members of the Straw Hat Pirates, like Usopp, Jinbei, Nami, Franky, and Brook, I think they'll all get the same bounty increase. If in the Wano arc they had a 300 million belly increase, then I think the same thing will happen to their bounties after the Elbaf arc. I also included Jinbei in this group, because it's portrayed that Jinbei won't have a major fight in this arc, since we can see his current situation. He's with Nami and tied up in that group, meaning if Oda really wants to highlight Jinbei's character in this Elbaf arc, then he and not Robin should be stepping up right now to fight the Holy Knights. This is probably part of Oda's plan, so that we can pay more attention to Sanji and finally end the fan debate on who is really number 3 in the Straw Hat Pirates. Because we all know that after the Wano arc, where Jinbei got a higher bounty than Sanji, a lot of fans trampled on Sanji's character and said that Jinbei is really the third strongest in the Straw Hat Pirates. So this addition of 300 million belly to Jinbei's bounty from 1.1 billion to 1.4 billion belly, I think, will settle that argument, since Sanji will now have a bounty that's 100 million higher than Jinbei. As for Usopp, although we expected that this arc would be about him, or that he'd show us some kind of improvement, it seems like those expectations are slowly fading in this arc. That's why, from 500 million belly, similar to Jinbei, I think Usopp will only get a 300 million belly increase, meaning he'll now have an 800 million belly bounty. Nami, who has 366 million belly, will now have a bounty of 666 million belly. Franky, who has 394 million belly, will now have a bounty of 694 million belly. Same with Brook, whose bounty will also increase up to 683 million belly. As for Chopper, who is currently still considered as the pet of the Straw Hat Pirates, I think he will still have the same role in the eyes of the Marines, especially since he didn't really shine in the Egghead Island arc, meaning if Chopper currently has a bounty of 1,000 belly, it might just increase to 10,000 belly. But if finally they stop considering him as just a pet of the Straw Hat Pirates, he might be included in the second-tier group of the Straw Hat Pirates and also get an increase of 300 million belly. Now, let's move to the 3 characters who are not members of the Straw Hat Pirates, but they're relevant in the Elbaf Arc. Let's start with Brogy and Dory. Currently, they each have a bounty of 1.8 billion belly. I think similar to the second-tier group of the Straw Hat Pirates, they'll also get a 300 million belly increase, meaning Brogy and Dory's bounties will each become 2.1 billion belly after the Elbaf Arc. That is, if they survive this arc. As for Loki, who currently has a bounty of 2.6 billion belly, he might get the same 500 million belly increase as Zoro and Sanji, meaning Loki's bounty will become 3.1 billion belly once the Elbaf Arc ends. So for you guys, what do you think will be the increase in the Straw Hat Pirates bounties once the Elbaf Arc ends? If you have your own list of bounties, don't be shy to comment it down below so we can talk about it. So that's it. Peace.